Hello and welcome to Education Corner. I'm your host, Dustin Latimer. We're highlighting local school districts, showing off some of the unique programs, classes, and clubs that makes them, well, them. It's the stories you don't see and the things you may not know unless you're part of it. Today, we're in Joplin, home of the Eagles. At Joplin schools, a lot of planning, hard work, and heart go into every school meal. That has led to more options, improved freshness and taste, and higher nutritional value, giving kids a much-needed boost that fuels their day. And while kids can be picky eaters, students I talked to at Eastmoreland Elementary say the food is too good to pass up.
Like the first time I tried it, it was so good.
Eastmoreland Elementary student Silas Markle is a big fan of the Joplin School's lunch menu.
I think they make pretty good food.
And each student has a list of favorites.
Well, the pizza, it's one of my favorites. It's just pretty good. It's just, I don't know how to tell how it's so good.
Probably pizza and chicken Alfredo.
I like orange chicken. I like pizza.
I would say a peanut butter jelly with a cheese stick and also with a cookie. I would eat the cookie last.
You don't eat the cookie first?
Maybe.
Each day, the Joplin School District serves around 5,000 lunches and 3,000 breakfasts. That's nearly 8,500 meals a day.
One of the popular sayings around is that we are the largest restaurant in the United States.
As a public school district, Joplin must follow strict regulations when it comes to planning all those meals, including minimum and maximum calorie count, amounts of sodium and saturated fat, and the use of whole grains.
So there's all of these things nutritionally that we have to do. And then next year, for the first time, we'll have added sugars added to those regulations. So we have to have less than 10% of our calories have to come from added sugars.
The biggest challenge, however, often lies in deciding what to serve.
We have people from all areas in Joplin schools, so just trying to offer something that's going to appeal to everybody is probably the most challenging.
At Joplin schools, the menu is expansive. Today, kids are enjoying orange chicken and they've invited me to sit with them. And I have to say, this orange chicken is pretty tasty.
We also do taste testing sometimes. I will bring in, for instance, chicken patties. I'll bring in multiple different kinds and have the kids test and tell me which one they prefer, and then we will put that on the menu based on what the feedback that they've given us.
And for the really picky eaters, Joplin Schools offers a second lunch option.
Maybe if they don't like whatever it is that we're having that day, that they can get an Uncrustable, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so that they have something on the menu that they enjoy.
Joplin Schools Nutrition Services Director and registered dietitian Tina Jorland says school lunches outweigh typical packed lunches, providing kids with a crucial high-quality meal that significantly improves their diet and health.
Research has showed that kids who eat school lunches eat far more fruits and vegetables than their counterparts who don't eat school lunches or bring their lunch. They get more whole grains, and they're much more likely to have sufficient amounts of calcium, vitamin A, and zinc in their diet than are kids who don't eat school meals.
A extracurricular club at Joplin South Middle School is helping bring kids out of their shell, allowing them to explore a set of hobbies that brings them closer to nature as well as each other. Students at Joplin Middle School are putting their creativity into a unique project that's tied to nature.
This group did a phenomenal job in starting out with that whole aspect of how do we improve the earth, how do we do it locally. They've got a great group that gets together and works on that. That group is called the Interact Club, and today they're adding some color and personal charm to bee blocks. These wood blocks will one day be home to native bees and will allow them to safely lay their eggs inside various holes drilled through the wood.
They lay eggs and then they lay a layer over the egg and then they lay another one and then they keep going until they get to the top. And the colors that the bees like are placed out on the table, which is blue, purple, white, and yellow.
This was an off-season thing that we could do to keep the interest up and help them maybe learn a little bit. We call that planting the seed.
Helping to plant that seed is Master Gardener Eric Olson.
Kids, they've got a lot of things to be interested in this world, but nature is something that it's going to be with us, and that we can learn, we can grow, and we can improve our environment by working with nature.
The group is also joined by their sponsor, the Rotary Club of Joplin.
Too often, the many students today don't have the structure that we had the opportunity to have when we were growing up, and so that's one of the things that Rotary can provide for them, and some guidelines in what real life's about, but also somebody just in many cases just to talk to, get to know them. How can we help them? We all need to be doing more of that in today's world.
Kids involved say the Interact Club has given them a positive environment for personal growth and expression.
I started the year out a little rough, so I was with the counselors almost every day, and they talked to me about involving in an Interact group, and I thought that'd be great for me because I like being with the counselors, and I like helping out the school.
It helped me gain more sociable skills because I came from a place where it was so small. You kind of just knew everybody and you didn't have a chance to socialize.
The skills these students gain from their interaction could also help them thrive outside the classroom.
It's a great resource for hopefully potential Rotarians as time goes on, because you get involved at the junior high level, then high school level, then college level, and into the business world. So we've actually had some go through that whole process. We also have a couple of leadership classes that we do for juniors in high school. But this is a great start.
And when the seasons change and the bees return, they'll have new homes. Ones painted with love from a group that's learning to love not only themselves, but the environment.
It just felt like it was I wanted to help the community, and also I like gardening. I garden with my mom a lot, and so I just felt like I wanted to do this.
I think it's nice because bees pollinate, and then it gives out oxygen and stuff for the world. And without bees, I don't think we'd be a very good planet.
They're really good for the environment. I mean, they make honey. A lot of people love honey, like honey tea on bread. And they pollinate our flowers. They help our flowers, really, to make the world look prettier.
The music program at Joplin schools is on a whole other level. The district has what many others do not, a full orchestra. It's where musicians are made, where sound creates emotion, as well as opportunities for those who play in the ensemble. This is the sound of Joplin High School's orchestra.
I like to tell the students the music is black and white, but we don't play black and white. We play the color. We're creating color with all of our sound.
I find that the instruments have a nicer tone and sound compared to band instruments, and I think it's it gives a nicer sound to hear. It's more serene.
The band is definitely a louder sound just because their instruments are a lot louder and they have more of them, but the orchestra, it's a more unique sound, and I find it prettier personally.
It's a sound you won't find at most public schools.
We are the only public school in Southwest Missouri. Neosho used to have a program, but they kind of slowly closed it down roughly around 5 years ago, maybe a little longer than that. Thomas Jefferson has an orchestra, but they are a private school that you pay for, and some of the Catholic schools have strings, but again, that's not a public school. So for a public school in the state of Missouri, you're going to Springfield. Other than that, you're jumping to Kansas, to Arkansas, or to Oklahoma. There is no string program in a public school within the hour drive.
Those who play in the Joplin High School's 30 to 40 piece orchestra got their start at a young age.
We start in 4th grade, so they get those instruments in their hands. It's just something that only Joplin does, and I just think that's fantastic. I started in this program, so I came out okay. So I think and every student that has left from this program, I keep in touch with a lot of them, and a lot of them have continued on and played, and done really well for themselves.
These students are committed to becoming the best, which requires a lot of practice.
We practice every day. We have like an hour at school that we practice every day. And then I usually practice around an hour at home in addition to my lessons and other things.
These kids work hard, and I require a lot of them. That's the downfall when you have me for 7 years. I know what you can do. And if you don't give me your best, I'm gonna do what I can until I get there.
There's no shortage of sheet music to practice playing. The music library at JHS contains a huge selection with more than 10,000 to choose from.
This is currently some of our older music that goes back all the way to T. Frank Coulter times, which is the 1930s and 1940s. And we have music on here, but all of these shelves rotate. We have music on both sides, so this is all orchestra, and then we have multiple sides for band as well as multiple sides for choir.
Playing in the orchestra has its advantages, especially for those who want to continue their education.
You can get a lot of scholarships for playing instruments, especially a string instrument. And so that's how I'll definitely be able to afford going to college, is through my violin.
It's opened a couple scholarships for me to take in the schools that I applied to. I got a $23,000 scholarship for a Christian private school, and I was offered a scholarship at MSU.
When you leave high school after playing in an orchestra, you can still continue in an orchestra. And the amount of scholarship money that comes with string instruments is so incredibly high. I didn't think I was going to teach orchestra. I thought I would teach choir. My choir scholarship was about a third of what I was offered on my violin, because everybody can sing, but not as many people can play a string instrument. And depending upon the instrument that you choose, more money is involved. The student that spoke earlier, Thomas, plays viola. Viola students tend to get offered more money than violin students because there's less of them. Bass, stand-up bass, that's a money maker right there. So I always encourage my students, the amount of scholarship opportunities, even if you don't choose to make that your major or a minor, they still want you, because it's a challenging thing to learn, and it's even more challenging to master.
Students say being part of the sound is what it's all about.
It's really satisfying, you know, because you get to hear everything fall into place, and then you get to hear everybody just moving with the music and enjoying themselves.
And those who play in the Joplin High School Orchestra got their hands on an instrument at a young age. As early as 4th grade, students are learning how to read and play, becoming part of the orchestra at the elementary and middle school level.
I love music.
Knox Perales was bitten by the music bug at a young age, and though he's only in 5th grade, he's part of the elementary orchestra.
It's insane to me that I like music, and it's such a coincidence that we moved over here 3 years ago maybe, and yeah, it's just like insane. It's just a convenience, you know.
At Joplin schools, learning an instrument starts in 4th grade.
It's great teaching beginners because this lays the foundation for what they can discover more later on. And I love having beginners because they're so excited to learn. It's something completely new, and the growth is incredible because they start from in 4th grade. I teach them how to open their case so the instrument doesn't fall out, and then by the end of the year we're playing music together, and that's really rewarding.
It's gonna get me to where I'm gonna, in the near future, I'm gonna be playing like, who knows, Can, the Irish leg dance, all that stuff.
The reason we start in 4th grade is because strings has a lot of coordination, because we've got what's going on with the left hand and changing notes, and then adding the right hand, adding the bow, and then you add in reading the music. It takes so much coordination, and it takes a little longer to build those skills.
But the music didn't come easy at first.
It was very hard because at first I'm like, what's this note? I mean, what's this string? What's this string? What's this note? It was just very mind-bending to me at first, but now it's just like, I know every single note on the cello.
They really motivate the other students around them, and when they are excited to show what they've learned, then it gets others excited as well. They love showing off, if you will. But they make everyone around them better.
I just like the instrument. I want to play the harp when I grow up, and I noticed that I just like the lower range of sound.
For these young musicians, the sound is what it's all about.
When there's all these different sounds, whether high, whether low, and they're all playing in unison or in round, whatever they're doing, it's just interesting to see all of those different sounds playing at the same time. Even when they're playing the same notes, different instruments have different sounds. It sounds beautiful. Like, with certain songs, it sounds beautiful with just one person, but with like an entire orchestra with different instruments, it sounds amazing.
Playing in the elementary orchestra has allowed these kids to start thinking about their future.
I don't know about it being a career for me, but I think I might be able to play it in college. Maybe me becoming a famous cello player and me getting tons of money.
I love the fact that we have an orchestra program at Joplin because it is a unique opportunity, but it's something that carries through the rest of their lives. We've got a parent who is playing with our orchestra this year because her kids are in it. And it's really great to show the kids that even if music isn't your job, you can enjoy it and still play for as long as you want to.
It was a first for Joplin High School as students took to the runway, putting their fashion-forward creations on display. It took months of preparation, but the hard work and last-minute alterations made for a memorable catwalk.
Someone's like, oh, I like your outfit. Thanks, I made it. And that's pretty cool.
Months of hard work and countless hours went into Joplin High School's first ever fashion show and shop. Hosting the event, the Family and Consumer Science or FACS department.
They have put hours in, like hours, and you can see it. You can see it in their designs. They're like, for example, that dress has my blood on it, like literally. I hit my hand and blood on it. And so I think these kids literally have sweat and teared in some of their designs and outfits.
Students in Tiffany Moore's fashion design class sewed, crafted, and created a variety of clothes and accessories.
I've always been in fashion, retail, I did pageants, and so like just bringing my love to that with my students and just intertwining that, but just seeing them get excited, getting their makeup on, it's been crazy. I've been sweating. I've told the kids, like, just know who Miss Moore normally is. Like, I'm a little short right now, and getting ready to sew somebody into a dress because we can't get a snap to stay, so we're making the best out of everything.
They're putting in a lot of work and they're learning a lot, and I really like that. I just sew. Yeah. I sew what I want, and then I just took some stuff that I'd done, and I'm performing, But, I mean, I'm proud of these girls. The wedding dress, the people are learning for this, and I'm really happy about it.
The handmade attire was fitted for students to model on the runway.
I sit in the class every day with them, and I see like their skills bloom, and I see all the exciting things, and I really just wanted a way to showcase it and show it off to the parents, but also just a community that supports us. I get things donated a lot to help them, and I just think it's great, and I just kind of kept adding vendors to different things.
The fashion design class has given some students a purpose while picking up a skill that many don't have.
I used to just sit around all day, and it was so boring. And now that I'm creating and I actually get to wear what I make, it's just so nice. And it's sad, it is a dying art. And everyone's got these, they're buying their clothes all on Amazon, and you don't know where it's coming from or who made it or the quality. But if I make it, that's my work, and I get to show it off. I think that's pretty cool.
It's really important. They can use this in future careers. They can talk about it. They can talk about taking something and redesigning it, or even someday they're gonna have children. Maybe they wanna repurpose and redesign for their kids, make a business out of it. Everything I do in the class, I always teach them you can make money off this. This is a skill that no one can take away from you, just like learning an instrument, or really anything in life, whether you're on a track team or whatever, you work as a team and you have to do that as a job. So I always try to focus that. It doesn't matter where in life you're at, you can use these skills. And I said the other day, you know, some kids can be sewing a button on for school one day and they're gonna think of me, or maybe their interview, like a job interview, and they're like, oh, my button came off. They're gonna think of me. They're gonna think about the skills that they learned in my class. So that makes me excited.
The free event was well attended and allowed students to showcase their hard work and creativity.
Really looking at repurpose, redesigning things, and making things out of unusual things, or taking something and bringing new life to it.
That will do it for this episode of Education Corner. Thank you for joining us on our tour of the Joplin School District, where nutrition is key for the growth of young minds, where musicians are made and creativity celebrated. These are just some of the stories that make up that Eagles pride. Until next time, because education is always right around the corner.